And we already knew that we were going to be doing some other touring in the fall. Like, we had, like, awesome tours booked. So we were just like, okay, we only have, like, this amount of time. So we were jamming for literally, like, 12 noon until midnight. Like, that was when the jam space was, like, open.
Right.
But it was also such a cool space to, like, be in. Because it was, like, Billy Talent was jamming upstairs.
Oh,
we had toured with them. We were friends with those guys.
Right.
They were working on, I guess, Billy Talent 3 at that point. 3 Days Grace was there. It was when, like...
So a bunch of fucking nobodies.
Edwin was working on the Crash Karma, like, kind of stuff. So it was, like, during the day. And then across the hall was that band Rammer, if you remember that metal band from Toronto.
No.
Anyways, just, like, they were, like, a, like, death metal band.
Oh, that's
who
great.
were sick. And so it was just, like, all of us, like, daytime was just, like, blasting. Yeah. Like, so heavy and so loud, and, like, everyone was going for it. And it was like, I'm not into 3 Days Grace, but it was like we all had this connection. Like, all of us had worked with Gavin Brown. Right. All of us were kind of in the same vibe. So it was like super nice dudes. So you were just like, oh, everyone's like creating and being excited and like cool stuff.
It's really interesting to be. It's unusual to be able to be sort of immersed in an environment like that.
Yeah, and that was like what the rehearsal factory was like on the East End.
Yeah.
And so we were literally like, we would just like ride our bicycles like across town, like jam all day, and then like just like ride home or like go to a show, like come back, jam more. I remember Scott and I went and saw Slayer because Bleeding Through was like opening. We were like, we had toured with them. So we went and hung out with like Bleeding Through, we watched Slayer, and then we left halfway through Slayer's set so we could like go, and we wrote Pray for Darkness.
Oh, nice.
Like in the last like hour, like we got there at 11 and we jammed until like midnight. And that was where we wrote this like quick D-beat song. And I was like, sick, check. Like we just need 40 minutes of music to like contractually have this done.
That's fucking awesome. So, because... Am I correct? Like, you guys have been, I don't know if won or nominated, but you guys have been nominated for...
Never won, but we got nominated
couple of times, right?
4 times now.
When was the first one?
First one was for... I guess it was for Hail Destroyer in 2009.
Talk to me about that experience, because especially with...
We had, like, Best New Artist was basically
but coming up as a fucking punk rock band... award-winning never comes into the fucking picture.
And that was the thing, like, we got nominated the first year that, like, Fucked Up also got nominated. Moneen got nominated. So it was, like, kind of like when a lot of that stuff was, like, changing. Okay. So we were like, we're not going to win. But we were like, this is really cool that we're even getting recognized. Right. To, like, do this. Me and Dal gave away like a bunch of awards, like we presented. Oh, yeah? Not on TV, but like we were still like selected. So that was kind of cool too, because like that was like them being like, well, you guys are obviously like a thing. Because like you couldn't deny that Alexis was like huge. And Billy Talent was already, they had been on the Junos and stuff. Right. But it was like, that was a really interesting time. But we felt like because so much had like stepped up for Hail Destroyer, like, that was, like, the real record where we went from, like, playing, good shows to, like, playing, like, oh, these shows are big and, like, these shows are crazy. When like, big for us being, like, there's, like, 300 and 400 kids at a show.
When was the first time you were that? Like, other than, like, just regular whatever shows, but when was the first time?